It's Delia. That's me.
Hey Delia Boppers, what's up? So a lot of people have been talking about Amy Thoms lately, the 22-year-old cisgender woman who had recently donated her hair to support cancer patients when she was attacked in a Walmart restroom in Danbury, Connecticut by another cis woman who had mistakenly assumed that she was transgender. Now this isn't the first time all of this transphobic hysteria over our right to be in safety has caused a cis woman to get caught in the crossfire. There's the recently resurfaced case of this young woman who was pulled from a women's restroom by police last December for not looking feminine enough, and even before that, there have been other cis women like Courtney Bogo-Red, who was ejected from a women's restroom in a Detroit restaurant for once again apparently not looking female enough, along with other cases which have happened here and there because people are transphobic and paranoid, and surprise, there's not any one thing that trans women or cis women look like. But Amy's story seems to have garnered the most attention, probably because the hysteria surrounding transgender restroom use has never been higher than it is now, with things like Target's new trans-inclusive bathroom policy, the debacle over House Bill 2 in North Carolina resulting in threats of a federal lawsuit, and directives from the White House to begin implementing transgender inclusion policies ranging from restrooms to medical care. Oh, and that legislation Mississippi recently passed explicitly legalizing the refusal of anything from employment and housing to emergency medical care to anyone in the LGBT community on the supposed grounds of freedom of religion, which honestly makes me wonder what we could get away with if there was a religion where being straight and cis was a sin. Probably not anywhere near as much, but still, I wonder. Anyway, people are on red alert at the moment, apparently so much that just having short hair and wearing a baseball cap was enough for Amy to unfortunately end up getting a taste of what that bathroom panic is like, a story which has since gone viral. And thank God she's using it as a means to speak out about how wrong it is, but at the end of the day, it's all still really left me wondering one thing. Where has everyone been while this has been happening to us? Because, I mean, frankly, it seems like a lot of people are starting to change their minds about this whole load of bathroom bullshit now that this kind of crap is happening, or at least the people who already support us are becoming more vocal. And I'll be totally honest, far be it from me to turn down any help just because the motivation behind it might be a little bit off, and I hate to sound like I'm looking a gift horse in the mouth, but honestly, I'm a little pissed. And let's get one thing straight right now. As a feminist, I obviously care very much about what's happened to each of these women who've had to suffer through a small taste of what we put up with on a daily basis on account of all this hysteria, coupled with the unrealistic and misogynist appearance standards society holds women to. But the main thing that has me pissed is that to us, this isn't anything new. Most of us have been through experiences similar to, or in many cases, far worse than this, not just once, but many times over the course of our lives. As a matter of fact, in a study conducted by the Williams Institute, 70% of transgender individuals surveyed reported having been harassed or assaulted trying to use a public restroom. And of those surveyed, 54% even experienced health complications on account of the tactics we end up using to avoid having to use public restrooms. Many of us have even experienced physical violence just for trying to pee, like Chrissy Polis, who was brave enough to actually press charges when she was beaten into a seizure in a McDonald's restroom in 2011. And at this point, I'd like to take a moment to remind you that there are probably a lot more of us than you think there are. Even low-end estimates put us at 1/3% of the population. Not a huge sounding number, I know, but in the United States, even just that adds up to about 1 million trans people, and that once again is a low-end estimate. Most of our estimates regarding anything about the transgender community are pretty much guaranteed to be low, just on the basis of the institutionalized discrimination and violence we face for living openly. So when you think about this, you have to realize that literally at least 700,000 of us have already experienced incidents like this, usually many, many times over the course of our lives, and I'm sorry, but I'm just left wondering, where were y'all when it was happening to us? I mean, it happens to just a few cis women and it goes viral. And suddenly people are wondering if all this anti-trans hysteria and legislation is really such a good idea, but I mean, this has got to be happening to literally hundreds at least, if not thousands of us every day, and just no one cares. I mean, seriously, millions of people now know this woman's name and face because someone harassed her because they thought she was trans, but how many names and faces do you know out of the hundreds of thousands of us who have experienced the same or worse for actually being trans? Probably none, unless you just happen to know someone personally, and even then, many of us just learn to be thankful that we lived through it. Because when you're cis and something like this happens to you, you can rest assured that speaking out about it will probably grant you nationwide recognition overnight on the internet. But when you're trans and you speak out about this shit, you can rest assured that you'll probably just end up getting a couple of internet hugs to balance out a whole bunch of frighteningly violent transphobic commentary and even outright death threats. And heavens forbid we even go to the police when studies have shown that we're 6 times more likely to experience violence when we interact with the police than even other survivors of LGBT hate crimes who already experience an elevated risk themselves. Not that what happened to all of these women wasn't wrong and awful, or that Amy hasn't caught her own fair share of shit in the midst of all this attention, which I'm sure she has, but the point is that these events are only happening because people hate and fear us. This violence is being directed towards us and carried out on us on a daily basis, and unfortunately these cis women were just unlucky enough to get caught in the crossfire. And we can only hope that all this leads to a shift in legislations, but I guarantee you that what it won't lead to is a shift in the way the nation thinks about violence towards trans people. Because laws preventing us from doing something as common and ordinary as taking a piss in safety shouldn't be overturned because of what happened to cis people. They should be overturned because transphobia is wrong. Society shouldn't stop trying to clock us in order to engage in violence against us because they might mistake a cis person for being trans. They should stop because we're human beings and we deserve to be treated with respect and dignity and fairness. And as wonderful as it is that Amy is using the attention she's received to make a noise about this and speak out on our behalves against the violence we face, I really hope that everyone will also begin to recognize how important it is that we start uplifting the voices of the trans survivors of this kind of violence who need and deserve to be heard just as much, if not more. Because we're the ones that society hates, and because trans women are real women too, and we fucking matter. As always, thank you so very much for watching, and until next time, be yourself. Hey everyone, thanks again so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw today, be sure to hit that like button and share so that your friends can enjoy it too. And be sure to subscribe because there's more where that came from, including activism and awareness videos, tutorials, you can follow my transition, and even check out some of my music. I also want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters because y'all are what make this channel possible. Thank you. If you're not a patron yet and you want to find out how you can get awesome rewards like autographed pictures from my modeling shoots and more for your support, just go to www.patreon.com/DeliaMelody to find out how you can sign up today. And be sure to check out Designs by Delia on Redbubble for all your official Delia Melody swag needs. See you next time and be yourself.